Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your boy Obi-Wan GOB, aka Critter Breeds, and today is story time! That's right, story time. The new series that we're doing here on the channel that we're going to talk about different things and experiences that I've had, and hopefully it helps you get to know me a little bit better and understand my way of thinking and things like that. So, what are we going to talk about today? Let's see. Okay. How about dreams? Let's talk about dreams. I have a tendency to have extremely weird dreams, and we've discussed this before on previous videos. But I have a tendency to dream about some really weird things. Sometimes these dreams come true, and I've discussed that before. And the way it works is I will dream something, and the dream will be so realistic, but very vague, to say the least. And what happens is I see a minute, 2 minutes worth of events that are going on, and I remember tiny little details that don't make any sense to myself or to anyone that hears about what I'm talking about. So, for example, when I was younger, I was just a kid. I had a dream that I was wearing all orange, and I had brown sandals that I was wearing. And in the dream, I was laying on a brown blanket, and I was writing on a piece of paper with a marker. Now, at the time of the dream, that meant absolutely nothing to me. Like, I had no idea what that meant or what it was about. And so I move on. I go down the road a few years, and my biological mother, we found her. She came and got me. I went to live with her in Alabama. I was in South Carolina to begin with. So I go to Alabama with her, and I get in trouble because, at this time, my schizophrenia is full-blown, and I'm not medicated, so I'm just mentally unstable and not in the place where I need to be. So I get in trouble, and I get locked up into juvenile detention, where the uniform is all orange jumpsuit with brown sandal flip-flop things. And anyway, the only communication you have there is by letter, and as a juvenile you're not allowed to have a pen or a pencil. Instead, you're allowed to have markers. So I predicted at a younger age my going to juvenile detention, and it hit me when I was there doing it that I had already dreamed that and experienced that. So that's kind of what it is. But let's talk about something else too. Let's talk about my experiences in Alabama. So I get there, and I get in trouble, and I go to juvenile detention, and then I get out, and I go home to my biological mother's house, and she starts dating this guy, and me and him just totally don't get along. It's bad enough that I'm living with someone that I had only known for less than a year, my mother, and when I moved in, it was just her, myself, a younger brother, and a younger sister. This guy comes in, and he's totally, like, super strict and, like, aggressive, and he's just not a good person. at the time. And so me and him get into it, and he tells my mom that either he leaves or I leave. So she tells me to leave. Pack up what little bit of stuff I had there and just leave. Now here I am in Alabama. I'm from South Carolina, and everybody I know is in South Carolina. So I am now homeless with nowhere to go. So I have a book bag of clothes and a couple other things. So I head to the flea market grocery store building, and I set up shop underneath a picnic table for months. And I was homeless and scrounging whatever I could to eat and drink and survive. And it was starting to get cold, so I finally met this family who took me in, and I couldn't stay with them, so I had to stay with the mom's boyfriend at his house in another city. And the payment for me staying there and him feeding me and taking care of me was, he was moving. So I had to go through this huge library type room of vinyl records and box them up and label them. So I did that for a couple weeks or so, and I didn't like the way he was. He was just very, like, always complaining that I wasn't working fast enough. I wasn't boxing up his stuff fast enough. And, you know, being 13 to 14 years old at the time, it's just, you know, I'm not really equipped to be homeless and you know, so I grabbed my book bag and I just left. And back to the streets I went. Anyway, so further down, like a few weeks later, I run into mom's boyfriend, and him and her are no longer together. They didn't get along or something, and he's apologizing for what happened to me, and he takes me to a homeless shelter and gives me a calling card to call my real mom and dad, my grandparents who are my mom and dad. And I call them, and the next day, Dad shows up and picks me up and takes me back to South Carolina. Now, at this point, it was rough because my mom and dad said that I had a couple weeks to stay there, and I had to find a job and find somewhere else to live. So my life started as an adult around the age of 15. And, you know, I went back to school, I got my GED, I found a job, I found a house, I got married at 18. That didn't work out either. But my life started at 18, and back to the dreaming thing. I always dream these things before they happen, and even now, like, I'll be sitting here, and you know, I'll catch a glimpse of something, and it'll trigger the memory of a dream that I've already dreamed, and I usually get scared, like, because I don't know if it's a bad dream or if it's a good dream or what it could be. You know, I mean, it's just. I don't know. I see it and then I get scared, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm playing FortNite for a while, so if you're on Xbox, hit me up. We will play some FortNite together. Anyways, story time, dreams and homelessness. I'll see you guys in the next video.